back with another story from the Bible. I'm excited that you get to talk about it with your parents or whatever adults are around you. Remember last time we learned about how God freed the Israelites from Egypt after all the plagues, and then the blood of the perfect lamb on the door, and then God split the Red Sea in half, and then he closed it back up and took out the Egyptians. Remember all that? Wow. This is a story from the book of Exodus. Remember, the Bible is in two main parts. The Old Testament, talking about how Jesus is coming. The New Testament, talking about how Jesus came. And this is a story from the Old Testament, the book of Exodus. The first book is Genesis. The second book is Exodus. This story has a lot of fire and smoke in it and a giant mountain. Are you ready? Exodus 19 through 20 and also chapter 31. The 10 Commandments, the first half. Love God. 3 months after the Israelites left Egypt, they came into the wilderness of Sinai. They camped in front of the mountain. God had a plan to make the Israelites his special people. God wanted to make a covenant or an agreement, a promise with the people of Israel. Moses went up the mountain. Let me tell you something about what's happening at the mountain right now. Fire and smoke, and if you touch the mountain, you die. Because God's presence is there. And they were like, I don't want to go up there. Moses, you go up that scary mountain and talk to God for us. So Moses went up the mountain. God called to him, saying, This is what you should tell the Israelites. You have seen what I did to the Egyptians, and how I rescued you and brought you to me. If you listen carefully to me and keep my covenant, you will be my people. Moses went back to the people and told them what God had said. All the people agreed. They responded together, We will do all that the Lord has spoken. So Moses went back up to the Lord. There's the picture. The Lord said to Moses, I am going to come to you in a dense cloud. I want the people to hear me speak to you so that they will believe you. Moses told the people what God said, and he got the people ready for the Lord to come down on the mountain. God told Moses to put boundaries around the mountain so no one would get too close. On the morning of the third day, thunder rumbled and lightning lit up the sky. A thick cloud came down on the mountain and a loud trumpet sounded. Everyone in the camp shuddered. Then Moses brought the people out of the camp to meet God, and they stood at the foot of the mountain. God came down on Mount Sinai in a fire, and smoke covered the mountain, and the mountain shook, and the sound of the trumpet got louder and louder, and God told the people not to come up the mountain. I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt. I freed you from slavery, he said. Then God gave Moses the 10 Commandments. The first 4 commandments told the Israelites what it looked like to have a right relationship with God. Number 1, do not have any other gods besides me, Yahweh. Number 2, do not make an idol for yourself. Number 3, do not misuse the name of the Lord your God. Number 4, remember the Sabbath and keep it holy. All right, what can you remember from the story? Why don't you pause and talk about it? All right, here's a question. What are some ways people break the first 4 commandments? Can anyone obey them? This is also the only covenant that is conditional. All the other covenants that God gives, the main covenants, are God doing it himself. And they just can't keep it up. All right, the Christ connection. God is holy and separate from sin. His law shows us what he requires, what he demands from us. Perfect righteousness. Our sin separates us from God, but Jesus came to bring us back to God. Jesus is perfectly righteous. When we trust in Jesus, he takes away our sin and welcomes us into God's family. All right, have a good day.